And joining us in studio now is Mr. Matt Chipman. Matt is the president of a company called Green Chip Investor Relations. And Matt, always good to see you.
Thanks for having me on again, Don.
You know, Matt, I was thinking to myself the other day and on the drive to the studio this morning that if we would just turn off the news and not watch any talk shows and not watch any of the pundits in the media talking about this or about that, I think people would think, gee, things are going pretty well in the country right now.
Yeah, there were some actual statistics that came out today. And, you know, if you just focused on the news and the headlines, you'd probably think we're in a bear market.
Mm.
You know, as of today, we just are flirting with new highs across the board. The private job sector just had blowout numbers.
Right.
So jobs are being created. You know, the private sector likes what's going on. And so therefore, you know, I look for some great opportunities in some of the things that we're involved with.
Well, look at the Dow. Dow's at 21,000 and change most of the time. And if the Dow goes up 100 or 150 points, you don't hear a word. If the Dow drops 20 points, it's a huge deal. And it's another example, according to the media, of the market's lack of faith in the current administration. It's gotten completely insane.
It is insane. And I'm trying to really identify exactly, you know, because it is strange. You know, there isn't a lot of reporting on really the main things that are going on. Yes, the thing that I look at carefully now are some of the things coming out about North Korea, about developments on how we're able to stop a ballistic missile. I mean, that's important
huge.
news.
That's huge.
And I think that people should be aware that, you know, we're now doing things that haven't been done before. Now, these have been in the planning stages a long time, but it's nice to know that, you know, in the event of something, you know, does get really crazy from a rogue nation, that we're able to protect ourselves.
Well, let's face it. I mean, the media is literally at war with the White House. It's been that way since the election. You know, the White House talks about fake news. The media is looking for ways. If they're not going to report on a story like you mentioned, the ballistic missile interception. They're not going to really play up that story unless they can figure out a way to spin it negatively towards the White House.
I really would prefer that everybody just calm down and let things kind of soak for a while, and let's see where we go with this. Because, you know, I don't think you or I like seeing, you know, the continued battle going on in the media with the White House. I'd like to get back to really the facts and figures of the numbers that are actually coming out on the economy and determining what people should do with their money. I mean, that's what this is all about.
Well, they're doing this to distract our attention. There's no question about that. If they can take pictures such as the one that Kathy Griffin posted earlier this week, that dominates the news cycle for about 2 or 3 days, then we're not talking about important numbers like the jobs. The jobs report just came out, like you said.
Yeah, the jobs report was great. I mean, there is another number coming out that'll probably confirm that the numbers are strong. The market loves the numbers. It does predict that interest rates may tick higher, but I don't think the Fed's going to run out to really, you know, run the interest rates back up. I mean, they really don't. So we're in a perfect kind of storm right now with the economy. Low interest rates, growth, job growth, and it is all about jobs, because the more people that are employed, the more people that are paying taxes. Well,
the Fed is handcuffed to some degree with respect to interest rates because, of course, you look at the number of trillions of dollars of debt that the U.S. is carrying. If the interest rates go up too high, that debt's going to spiral completely out of control. Not that it isn't already.
Yeah, it's. I would like to see, you know, the growth in the economy, because the only way we're going to be able to pay this debt is to grow our way out of it.
Right.
And then, of course, careful management of the money as it comes in. So, you know, I'm not always for just keeping taxes completely low across the board, but I do. If they're fiscally responsible, which I hope that we still can be, then we're going to be fine.
Well, the budget that's before Congress right now basically is calling for a 3% economic growth rate, which is 50% better than what the anemic rate we've been experiencing, and that is relying on people going back to work, which I think is really important.
It is important, and that's why the market loves, even though it may mean a little bit higher interest rates, the market loves this news about jobs.
Well, Matt, you know, you've always been a welcome guest on this program because of your expertise in economics and the markets and such. If people want to know more about what you do, how can they find out?
I encourage people to go and send me an email and at least allow us to talk about some of the companies that you talk about, but also that I follow closely, that I think are significantly undervalued. And I'd like to send you information about it. You can send it to Matt at greenchipir.com.
Green Chip Investor Relations, Matt Chipman. Matt, it's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for having me on.